we are going to look at and talk about some left-wing extremism, because this is just getting a bit ridiculous now. We can't do anything unless we start talking honestly and openly about the problems that we are facing. Okay? So, I've already broke this down on the Stalker stream, but I haven't got to actually cutting up that video and uploading it yet. It's live on Rumble. It's 2.5 hours long, where we use my Stalker as a case study. Gavin, don't worry, I've not forgot about you. That'll all be coming soon. But yeah. So, we're on the government site. We are going to first go through what extremism is according to the new definition that came out in 2024. So, definition: extremism is the promotion or advancement of an ideology. Ideology, a set of social, political, or religious ideas, beliefs, and attitudes that contribute to a person's worldview. Okay. Based on violence, hatred, or intolerance. Intolerance, this phrase is found consistently in the jurisprudence of the European Court of Human Rights. See, for example, Peringcheck v. Switzerland. Intolerance, in the context of the definition, is closely linked with violence and hatred, and is intended to mean, and is to be applied to mean, an actively repressive approach, rather than simply a strong opinion or dislike. So you're actively seeking to repress something, like masculinity, or conservative values, or believing that a man is a man and a woman can't become a woman. Hello, TikTok people. I apologise, I can't share my screen yet, unfortunately. Let's continue with our definition. It aims to negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. So that's what our government is doing. That is also what the trans community are trying to do. That is also what the Islamic community are trying to do. So there is no question they are extremists. And all the useful idiots, all your woke people, all your lefty lunatics, they are all far left extremists. Like, there's no other way to look at it at this point, unfortunately. In particular, those rights and freedoms listed in Schedule 1 to the Human Rights Act 1998. We will get back onto the Human Rights Act, because there are plenty of human rights organisations that understand that human rights are being trampled in the UK. Absolutely trampled on. But we'll get back to that. Lawful expressions of one's belief, for example, advocating for changes to the law by Parliament, exercising the right to protest, that's been absolutely stamped on recently in Epping, or expressing oneself in art, literature and comedy is not extremism. We've just had, what's his name, arrested. The Father Ted creator has just been arrested. So, yeah, they're already against their own definitions of what extremism is, because they are extremists. Undermine, overturn, or replace the UK system of liberal parliamentary democracy. They're certainly doing that. It's part of the reason that they're allowing an invading force in, because they think they're going to vote for them. But they're not, are they? Because we're already seeing Islamic parties crop up and Islamic representatives. Christ, we are in an economic absolute death spiral, and yet you've still got members of Parliament trying to advocate for us to build a airport in Pakistan, or wherever. I'm sure it was Pakistan. Whatever. Parliamentary democracy. The UK is a parliamentary democracy, is it? Which consists of a constitutional monarch. Oh, well, he's just... We're not even going to get into Charles right now. Who exercises a number of constitutional ceremonial duties. Parliament, which is the supreme legislative authority with the ability to make or unmake any law. Government, which is drawn from and accountable to Parliament. And the judiciary, which is independent from government. And yet, you've got judges that were part of the Fabian Society and are key members, or have been key members in Labour Party. Yeah. They are literally trampling all over it. How they are not traitors? Well, they are traitors. There is no other way to look at it. They are all traitors in Parliament. But again, we are here to talk about the left-wing loonies, the useful idiots. We'll get onto that. We will, I promise. Bear with me while we make sure that we have got it nailed down what extremism is and how they're shitting all over us, even though their own stuff. Again, this is the new definition from 2024. Madness. Back to the definition. Undermine, overturn, or replace the UK system of liberal parliamentary democracy and democratic rights, including the right to vote, the right to join a political party, or the right to stand in elections. Intentionally create a permissive environment for others to achieve the results in one or two. Again, exactly what the UK government is currently doing. Yeah? They are intentionally creating a permissive environment for others to achieve the results in one or two, which is to negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others and undermine, overturn, and replace the UK system of liberal parliamentary democracy. Yeah, it is. Well, I can't even begin to lay out how that is happening because it is so fucking. There are so many examples. It's just overwhelming. Madness. So, the types of behaviour below are indicative of the kind of promotion or advancement which may be relevant to the definition and are an important guide to this application. The further context below is also an essential part of the definition. So, let's go into behaviour that could constitute extremism. Negate or destroy fundamental rights and freedoms. Behaviour against a group or members of it. This would just be the general, normal British public. That is, the centrists and people who go right-wing. Now, just because you're anti-left doesn't necessarily mean you're right. I personally think if you believe that all of the world's issues can be boiled down into left or right, fucking blue team or red team, that you're a moron. An absolute moron. Of course we should have some social programs in place, but they need to be kept in check by sense, common sense, and not ruled by ideology and feelings. Behaviour against a group or members of it that seeks to negate or destroy their rights to live equally under the law. Now that would be your Islamic State, yeah? They fundamentally believe that anyone who isn't Muslim is a second-class citizen, and that's before we get to women that aren't Muslims. Christ, even Muslim women are second-class citizens, so that would be them second-class, then us third, and then our women, well, they're just cattle to them, as we are seeing with all the, we'll call it grooming gangs, because we don't want more hate speech. Live equally under the law and free of fear. How many women are terrified? The people of Epping are terrified for their children. People everywhere should be terrified. Now, while they are fucking terrified of fear, threat, violence, and discrimination, all of which are being met not just by Islamic invasion, but also being met by the trans community, going into their bathrooms and their protected spaces. Madness. They are scared, rightly so. And then you've got, again, our traitorous government who they're trying to define Islamophobia and say, oh, no, you can't do that. Well, that's ridiculous. You are right to be scared of them. They are an invading force. Yeah? They are an invading force. Anyway, back to the fucking extremists and traitors. Fear. Using threatening, inciting, justifying, glorifying, or excusing violence towards a group in order to dissuade them from using their legally defined rights and freedoms. This is all the left-wing extremists can do. Yeah? They shout, they scream, they threaten violence. They actually become violent. If you have any doubt about that, just go and watch some Charlie Reach videos. Now, again, you left-wing loonies, you're not going to do that because you can't engage with anything that threatens your worldview or even begin to comprehend that perhaps your ideology doesn't actually line up with reality, which again is why you can't engage, because you're just cognitively dissident. Aim 2, undermine, overturn, or replace liberal democracy. Attempts to undermine, overturn, blah, blah, blah. Advocating that the UK's Parliament Parliamentary democracy and democratic values and rights are not compatible with their ideology, and seeking to challenge, overthrow, change our political system outside of lawful means. Again, I'm going to need someone to sit me down like a 5-year-old and explain how this isn't what the Labour government are doing. Because, well, yeah. Using threatening, inciting, justifying, glorifying, or excusing violence towards citizens in order to dissuade them from participating freely in democratic process. Obviously, we haven't got another vote yet. I don't personally believe we're going to be allowed another election because they can't risk that. But, well, that's coming. In the way the public or state institutions exercise their power in order to further ideological goals. I mean, the judiciary is literally being weaponized against us. Anyone with common sense, like you don't align with the elite, so it's all being weaponized against you. As we can see with the Twitter police now. For example, through entryism or by misusing powers or encouraging others to do so. So misusing powers is very, very much in play at the minute. Using threatening, inciting, justifying, glorifying, or excusing violence towards public officials, including our armed forces, police forces, and members of local, devolved, or national legislatures, in order to dissuade them from conducting their obligations freely and fearlessly without external interference. I mean, Farage got that thing through it in, but Farage is just controlled opposition anyway, so. Establishing parallel government structures which, whether or not they have formal legal underpinnings, seek to supersede the lawful powers of existing institutions or state. Well, that would be your fucking Sharia courts, would it not? Again, sit me down like a 5-year-old and explain to me how it's not, because that's what I see. Enabling the spread of extremism, intentionally create a permissive environment for behaviour in aim 1 or 2. This is where your useful idiots really come in. Providing an uncritical platform for individuals or representatives of groups or organisations that have demonstrated behaviour in either aim 1 or aim 2. LBC are well on that, yeah? They love spouting nonsense. But while we're on that, we need to talk about GB News as well. Let me see if I can find it. China and India are digging coal out of the ground at record pace. It increases every year. And by the way, every year for the last few years, they claimed it was going to come down. Your nipples going up. So they're not smart. China and India are digging coal and whatever else out at rapid pace, yes. But then beyond that, we have a lot more to worry about. They're much smarter, frankly, the people like you and your Prime Minister and the Tory, these clowns are betraying the British people. Your knowledge of international diplomacy is staggeringly good. The idea that China and India are in cahoots against the rest of the world is complete nonsense. If you know anything about international... Okay. So, my passionate response there is, what are they on about? This guy doesn't have a clue and he's spreading misinformation. Because before what we're going to show to prove this, they had bricks in place and the Belt and Road Initiative, right? But let's go to Dylan Page.
Spoke? Oh my lord, a huge meeting is happening in China as we speak. In fact, it represents over 3 billion people. That's nearly half of the entire world's population all gathered through their leaders at one single event. And the guest list is wild. We've got Russia, China, Iran, India, Pakistan, Turkey.
So there we go. India and China. Yeah. Absolute nonsense. And they keep putting that guy on GB News. Well, you just can't trust them, can you? You just can't trust any of them. Anyway, let's get back to our extremism. Facilitating activity of individuals or representatives of groups or organisations that have demonstrated behaviour in either aim 1 or 2, stand up to racism, including through provision of endorsement, funding, or other platforms of support. Stand up to hate as well. They've been fucking highlighted, haven't they? Dissemination of extremist propaganda and narratives. Well, what have we got there? We've got climate change propaganda. We've got trans propaganda. We've got fucking anti-far right propaganda. We've got Palestine propaganda. We've got Hamas propaganda. We have got propaganda coming out of our fucking arseholes. Ooh. Attempts to radicalize, indoctrinate, or recruit others to an ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance, including young people. This is all the left wing do. Yeah? Target children, especially with their fucking trans cult. And, well, again, Palestine, all of it. Yeah? This is all they do. Consistent association with individuals or representatives of groups or organisations that have demonstrated behaviour in either aim 1 or 2 without providing critical challenge to their ideology or behaviour. Again, left wing, they join this cult and then they toe the line. They always toe the line. They can't do anything but toe the line, because as soon as they say, maybe I don't agree on that one point, there are many to disagree on, but as soon as they present even one kind of, that's it. They're out the club. It's. If any behaviour listed in aim 1 or 2 has occurred previously, a refusal by the individual, group or organisation that conducted the behaviour to rescind, repudiate, or distance themselves from the behaviour. Yeah. So again, the left wing try and justify everything that's ever been done by anyone that they support. So they are all extremists. They are left-wing extremists. And what's even more bizarre is they behave like Nazis while they shout Nazis. They shout right-wing extremist when they are the extremists. Whereas the right-wing extremists want to say, no, we are Great Britain. We are England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland. We stopped slavery. We were the moral authority of the world. We brought civilization and infrastructure to the world. And then, well, what happened? We stopped the Nazis in World War II, started giving back all the shit, and just got poisoned with this communist Marxist ideology, and it's just been left unchecked. Again, if we go back to the other video that I need to cut up and get up on YouTube and everything, where we break down Yuri Bezmenov back in 1984, like, saying this is exactly how it's going to go. Like, it's planned out, it's happening already. Madness. Right, we don't need that. So, let's have a look at some of these left-wing extremists on Facebook. So, Scotland politics. Councillor Mike Hawkins from Whitehaven. If you're putting up England and British flags, English and British flags, all right, councillor, ask yourself this: is it because you're supporting a national event? So that's the only time you're allowed to be proud of your nation, when they decide that you're allowed to. And that is only when you're engaging with the circus, the distraction, yeah? Like, say, obviously he goes into the Women's Rugby World Cup, yeah? Because God forbid he just says, Rugby World Cup, football, yeah? It has to be women's. Or earlier in the summer, the Women's Euros, or even Royal Occasion, that's perfectly fine. I, as the establishment on my plastic fucking pedestal, have decided when you can put your flags up, and that is the only time. We all like to get behind our country. No, they fucking don't. I am probably the first to jump on the bandwagon. No, you're fucking not. But if you're putting them up to make foreigners to this country, whatever their status, feel uncomfortable, that is purely and simply racist. I mean, he's not wrong there, but that isn't why people are putting up their flags, is it? Let's quickly pull up where all this has come from, because it's really telling. Hope, not hate. In fact, let's just type in and see if it does it again. Because yesterday, when I was writing an article that we'll get into, not an article, an essay, it was, there you go, Raise the Colours UK. The first response. It's not sponsored, but it's the first one. Operation Raise the Colours from Hope Not Hate. People have done plenty of videos on Hope Not Hate. There's plenty of information out there. These are another extremist organisation. But it is from this article where they've decided everyone putting up flags is a right-wing extremist. It's like, fucking no. That is Not the case at all. But it's from this article where they spout off that all these far-right people have put up their flags. They can never define what a far-right extremist is. They can never actually give you a proper definition of what they are. Okay. Shut up with your ideologically driven... This is me. Shut up with your ideologically driven propaganda. It doesn't work anymore. Everyone can see the result of multiculturalism. Destroyed economy, unsafe streets, and paedophilic rape gangs. Bit of a typo there. If you're against pride in the nation that ended slavery and defeated the Nazis, fuck off to Afghanistan with your delusion and see how long you last with your left-wing extremism. Yeah, I think that is perfectly reasonable. They want to turn our country into a third world hellhole, and they have aligned with terrorists, and they want to keep welcoming in Islam for their virtue signalling. And, well, if you want to do that, go to Afghanistan and see how long they put up with your fucking Marxist bullshit. Yeah? Try walking down the street with your fucking blue hair and your tits out, ladies. It's not going to happen, is it? Try telling them that they need to call you a they, them. Yeah? That's what they'll do to you. And you know it as well. You know it. And then we get a boomer. Go back. Well, yeah, boomer. Where are we at? Oh, she's edited it. You say others are pushing ideological propaganda, yet your reply is nothing but slogans, myths, truths, and rage. Where? I should mention, I haven't responded. Well, I responded saying, okay. But I haven't responded to this because, again, they're extremists. And to start combating the very foundations that they are working from that are wrong, takes too long, which is why we're here now doing it. Slogans, myths, truths, and rage. I am enraged. I am enraged. I'm enraged at people like you, Lynn. Useful idiots, yeah? The boomers that demand respect, that act like fucking scumbags all the time, that despise your children, that have done no work on actually getting better within yourselves and providing value to anyone but yourself. That's all they ever care about is themselves, which is why they're so happy to jump on the narcissistic bandwagon of the left. Yes, because all they care about is the public perception of themselves. That's it. We will get into why the left attracts narcissists as well, but we'll maybe have to do that later. The aggressive style replies, honestly, don't come across well either. Fed up, sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. I think I'd had a couple of beers as well, but that's by the by. If pride in the nation means anything, it should mean being better than this kind of empty name-calling. Otherwise, you're only proving the original poster right about this kind of thuggery that drags it down. So that's name-calling, Lynn. Yeah? Literally, one sentence after you've said that, thuggery. And let's not to mention, this is all empty bollocks anyway. Yeah? You fucking cow. So yeah, I replied just saying, okay. And then we're on to Graham Calvin. Left-wing politics has brought most of the changes, many through trade unions that dragged ordinary working people out of poverty and improved their lives. Not disputing that. Again, trade unions now are fucking useless. They're just in the pockets of Labour. Yeah? Trade unions don't stand for anything now. All from the bottom up. The NHS. Let's talk about the NHS. People go to join and work in the NHS. A lot of shitty people go and join work at the NHS. The NHS is a symptom management system. It has got nothing to do with healthcare. It doesn't help anyone get better. It is awful, horrific. It is mismanaged, fucking bureaucratic money laundering. The NHS needs to be totally dismantled and rebuilt, as do fucking every system in this country. We need to massively reduce the bloat and the blob. That's what, what's her name? Whatever. The deep state, the blob, the fucking bureaucratic nightmare. Gone. And they can fuck off thinking that they're getting these massive overinflated pensions that they've given themselves paid out. Get to fuck. Health and Safety at Work Act. Well, that's gone a bit too far, but I get what he's saying. Social housing, and then again, we'll get into social housing because they're already starting to take people out of their homes so that they can put migrants into them, because it doesn't matter if you've paid into the tax system or anything like that. Fuck that. Migrants need your houses, and we're so virtuous, so fuck you, you English retards who pay all the taxes and keep them there. Disgusting. And numerous acts and safety nets. The right want in employment, like sick pay, 5-day working week. I would fly the flag, be proud of these achievements. Name me one gift from the right-wing politics. Capitalism. And again, right-wing isn't about bringing in changes. Right-wing is about conservatism. Not that I'm right-wing, because, again, I believe that some of these things need to exist. But when all you do is fucking virtue signal and go off feelings and... Oh. Why? What? Oh, my word. Again. Fucking banned off TikTok Live again. What for this time? I bet it's hate speech again. I can't remember what I was saying. Hard right grifters that are encouraging you to fly flags. No one's encouraging us to fly flags. Let's just pull this up quickly, right?
Is she the victim of a briefing war? Well, look, Angela's had people briefing against her and talking her down over and over again. It's a big mistake, by the way. Angela's an incredible Prime Minister, an incredible person.
Deputy Prime Minister?
Prime Minister.
Oh, dear. Right, where are we at? Yes, here. When I seen this... I didn't even know about the Raise the Colours campaign, yeah? Someone had just put flags up, with no association with any of these fucking right-wing extremists that you seem to be banging on about. And my heart swelled with pride. I thought, finally, people are actually being proud of one of the greatest nations in history. Nothing to do with the hard right grifters that are encouraging you to fly flag. Like, this is your extremism. You're absolutely deluded. You are making up these stories to try and fit a narrative that you've already decided is true. You don't look at the situation. You don't look at how the British people, on the whole, are being treated and are responding by saying, no, this is England. England is for the English. What is wrong with that? Explain what's wrong with that. Why do we have to be tolerant? Why don't all the fucking 50 Muslim countries have to be tolerant? Or, more to the point, why don't they fucking go there? Fly flags to denounce and reject people of other ethnic groups. Couldn't care less what colour your skin is. Culture is what matters. Fuck me. Retards. Communities are using it as a deflection across division in our communities. Nothing. You're right. It is a deflection, yeah? Because you're all banging on about the flags while they just carry on behaving however the fuck they want, while you've got the Epping Hotel literally, like, it blows my mind, yeah? You had a judge quite rightly say, nah, this needs to close. Yes, I understand the point that Labour are making. We can't just close them because then they'll have to go out onto the streets. But they're already trying to disperse them into the streets in HMOs and housing and that, so you don't even know where they are. So they're nice and infiltrated into your community for when it all kicks off and they've got their army right there. So I understand why they're trying to say, no, we need to do it in a slow, controlled manner. This hotel is right next to a school. Right next to a school. And we know that they do not give a toss about our laws. And they are fucking full of paedophiles. Why are you defending them? The only reason that anyone ever defends a paedophile is because they've got that leaning themselves. So really start asking yourself, start looking at the facts and the logic and see what is happening and decide, are you on the right side of history here? Because... well, you're just clearly not. Your tolerance is destroying our nation. Let's see what Edward wrote. I have had the Union Jack flying in my safeguard them for years, long before any immigrants crossed the channel. Again, all these problems started long before the boats came. The boats and these scumbag fucking savages, they are a symptom. They are a symptom of the problem. Now, we need to deport the symptom, but we also need to try all the traitors as traitors, because that's what they are. Yes? Traitors. After we've brought back the death penalty. Death penalty first, then trials for treason. Very, very publicly. Yeah? No more corruption. No more, oh, well, the British public can't handle it. I'm sorry. If you can't handle the truth, you're a child. And you deserve to be treated as such. Just as symbol of our great nation and what we fought 2 world wars for, and the soldiers that lost their lives to give us the freedom we are afforded. Good man, Edward. On that, I'm not going to put the video up because the laptop struggles. But there is a video of a World War II veteran absolutely heartbroken because this is not the country that he fought for. Yes? He doesn't see it anymore because people like you, fucking Lynn and Graham, have absolutely eroded what it means to be English and British. You're awful, useful idiots. And again, left-wing extremists. As is Councillor Mike Hawkins. And again, right, these councillors, all these boomers that are trying to get into fucking politics and whatever else, they don't actually want to change anything. They don't want to make anything better. They're exactly the same as Labour. They just want the power. They don't have any fucking morals. They have value systems that have been put upon them to be like, well, this is how you get forward by putting on this act. You just don't believe a fucking word of it. Not in reality, because again, when pushed, you can't stand by anything. You mean nothing. You are empty fucking vessels. There is nothing going on behind the eyes. You've got no fucking soul left. It's left-wing extremism, woke ideology that's caused for the rifts in our society. Yeah, it absolutely is Sammy Smith. Like 100%. Again, I've already done a video on this, but just yes, carry on. Back to fucking Boomer Lynn. Not sure what people mean by woke ideology. Yes, you fucking are. Everything that is pushed by the fucking loony lefties, by the Marxist agenda, by the establishment as well. Again, like, you are lockstep and key with the establishment that it isn't based in reality. So, yes, you do, Lynn. Again, this is arguing in bad faith, because that's all they can do. Because they can't fucking use logic, and they certainly can't be confronted by logic. Being woke just means noticing what's unfair. What? Like importing a bunch of paedophiles, making us pay for it while our economy crashes? Yeah? And trying to make things better for everyone. You can't do that. Isn't how the world works. Again, communists, Marxists, absolute morons. On paper, communism is the most fantastic system in the world, but it doesn't account for human nature. It doesn't account for the fact that people take advantage of everything that they're given. Or some people, I should say. Yeah? You have a very small part of the population that are actually good and moral just because it's the right thing to do. A very small amount. And you aren't one of them, Lynn. Again, you aren't one of them because you're trying to make things better for everyone. But it doesn't, does it? Because your tolerance of allowing in these savages is causing little girls to be molested. It is causing fear. Again, back to the definition of extremism. I don't get why anyone would mock that. I think we've covered that. Let's put the labels aside for a minute and have a grown-up chat. Condescending cunt. No doubting life can be tough for people in areas that feel left behind, and people don't always feel heard. I totally get that. Say if all immigration stopped tomorrow, would that really fix those problems? No, but it would it would be a great start. It would mean that we stop paying billions upon billions upon billions of pounds. It would mean that the housing market increase in prices would slow dramatically. But that again is encouraged by private equity buying up all the houses so that they can house the migrants. Yeah, and bring in their 15-minute cities, which is what the UN have been openly saying they were going to do for a long time, which is what the World Economic Forum, another extremist terrorist group, have been saying they were going to do for a long time. So extreme, in fact, that they lied about Brexit. Well documented. I totally get that, but actually, it could make things worse, since lots of NHS and GP staff are immigrants. Yes, they are, because the people of the West, will not work for a slave wage. What you are advocating for there, Lynn, is modern slavery. You are saying that all of our systems need propped up by people who are willing to work for less than. And beyond that, a lot of them aren't trained properly, and you can't fucking understand them. Moron. So I'm curious to know what you think would actually make life better. Would it be better services? Yes. Jobs? Yes. Education? Let's not even get into the education system, because that's just a whole nother mess. We've definitely covered that in previous videos, or something else. What's missing in your own town? Well, Lynn, there was a coal mine going to open up in Whitehaven, and as soon as Labour got in, they closed it, which has cost our economy, our struggling, desperate economy in the local area, massively. And then beyond that, the companies that were all lined up to bring in this coal mine, that had done all its economic fucking shite bollocks, literally bollocks, they jumped through all the hoops, they'd done all that, and then it just got pulled again because of ideology. Nothing more. So they're suing. So not only has it cost the people their jobs and the opportunities, but it's now going to cost the councils even more, because they will absolutely have to pay out for this lawsuit. Okay? So that's one example of what it's cost us. Not to mention the changing demographics and the fear on the streets. Now, Cumbria has been somewhat shielded, but guess what? Not anymore. And we are on the Birmingham map. Yeah? Shut up, Lynn. Moron. I detected ChatGPT used to generate this response. Fantastic, Benji. Lynn Craig, woke are the left-wingers who get upset because they can't force their ideals on the rest of us. There you go. I mentioned some example like services. Right, see? So now she's going to deflect. When I raise these points, it is slogans, mistruths, and rage. But because Lynn has asked, Lynn has to be addressed. Because again, she is so far above everyone else. This is what they all think, because they're all fucking narcissists. I mentioned some examples like services, jobs, education, hoping it might prompt a chat. Again, Lynn, right? We aren't chronically online, yeah? I couldn't think of anything worse than sitting here and having a back and forth with you when you're just spewing fucking nonsense all the time. Because as you can see, there is so much that needs addressed because your fundamentals are so out of line with logic and reality. Madness. Like a lot of people, you feel strongly about immigration, so you could talk about how you feel. Feel doesn't matter. How you feel does not matter. Reality matters. Yeah? 1 + 1 = 2. But you fucking lunatics, 2 + 2 = 5. Because that's what the party says. Oh, bleeding heart fucking liberals. Retards. I say your town because I don't live there now. Shops. The high street is decimated. There are none. Yeah? Again, vape shops, Turkish barbers. That's all you've got. That's all. Yeah? Everywhere. But the social issues are the same that other areas face. Yes, whole country. Not just the country, whole fucking West. The entire Western world literally has all of their people up in arms because we didn't ask for this. We didn't want it. It is undemocratic. Yeah? Again, back to the extremism definition. Really don't think anyone's trying to force their ideals on you. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah? You have to accept fucking savages coming. You have to accept the dramatic rise in sexual assaults. You have to accept that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, and it doesn't matter that you've got a penis, you can go wherever you want. No. What happened to men being the enemy? Like, don't get me wrong, that was like phase one. Yeah, you've got to demonise masculinity and make all the good men cower back down and be quiet. And I was certainly guilty of that for a long time. Like, even from a very young age, I couldn't understand what was so wrong with men. Like, why are we being demonized? Like, I'm not one of those people, but yet you still fucking treat us like it. And again, yeah, it's all you lefty lunatics who do it. Yeah, because the right wing or the centrists or people with any common sense are like, well, of course it's not all men. It's a very small part of the population that we've got problems with. And again, if we weren't all about feelings and we had things like the death penalty, those would drop dramatically. Your feelings, your virtue signalling has caused all of this. Yeah? Go and have a look in the mirror. You are the problem. Everyone has the right to be heard. In fact, we're going to respond to that. But women have to allow men into their bathrooms and changing rooms. There we go. Let's see if she likes that. I will be tagging her and telling her that this video is here. Like, I'll be putting it up on Facebook and everything because that's just, well, it's the fair thing to do. But everyone has a right to be heard. And as I said above, part of the problem is when people feel their voices don't count. I don't want to make anyone feel like that. Yes, you do. That's why you've been a condescending cunt in your comments. It would be best if you will concentrate on helping farmers rather than involve yourself in irrelevant flag discussion. Work on making their taxes lower and reducing unnecessary red tape limits. Every farmer will thank you for that. Yeah. This guy, do we need a Benji, don't know, whatever. This guy, again, back to the boomers really, like, they're not asked about making anything better. They just want to be influencers. Legitimately. All he's asked about is fucking getting one up on Josh McAllister.
Josh McAllister has posted on Facebook that he's been in touch with Cumberland Council and Sustrans, who look after the cycle path from my house down to Esk Avenue. He's made some phone calls apparently, and he's going to get it sorted, the issues sorted. He's aware of a lot of issues. Of course, without going into details, he doesn't mention what issues they are. I'm aware of issues round by the Nissa shop with the flooding. We're looking at that to get it, try and get it solved with the Rivers Trust. And last month we spent a week for.
They're not actually fucking doing anything proper. They're just trying to get one up on each other. It's a popularity contest to them. They do not give a flying toss about making any real change. Fuck me. Right, let's pull up the video that explains why you left-wing lunatics are narcissists, shall we? We're going to have to go... yeah, very important. Go and watch these. Bodyguards ambushed. Look at that. Yeah. Where was it? Let's just...
He's a narcissism expert. This is Richard Grannon. Thank you ever so much for coming on the programme. Without a doubt, the first trick to knowing that you're not a narcissist is worrying that you might be a narcissist. That's what someone told me once upon a time. But it's fascinating. I've thought for a long time, ever since there's been this concept of luxury ideologies, the latest Gucci handbag is saying, my kid's trans, that so much of these people who bang on about, refugees welcome, don't actually care about the refugees. They just want to look good on social media.
That's you.
Yes, and that's what the Crispin's and Bertram's research indicated, isn't it? Is that actually they're finding that a lot of these people who claim to be left-wing are actually authoritarian more than pro-social left-wingers. They're not fighting for the working class. They're not interested in workers' rights. They're interested in performative displays of dominance and power. It correlates very highly, according to their research.
That's exactly what you've been doing in those comments, yeah? With your condescension and your holier than thou, I'm right, you're wrong. Same as the councillor. I get to dictate when you get to put your flags up. Exactly the fucking same, yeah? Therapy talk has been thrown about so much that it doesn't really mean anything anymore. We need a different word for narcissist, and we're not allowed to say cunt to them, but it's rampant. It's everywhere. It has been rewarded and encouraged for far too long. Because again, people weren't allowed to say, nah, you're talking out your fucking ass. Reality matters.
Research with antagonistic narcissism as well as neurotic narcissism. So neurotic narcissism is what we would usually think of as fragile, highly self-victimizing, highly vulnerable narcissism. And then you have the antagonistic, which is more entitled, aggressive, and confrontational. And what they were suggesting is that a lot of people are simply using left-wing ideology as a front, that are riding it like a vehicle to fulfill their own ego needs, and those ego needs turn out to be quite nasty.
It doesn't surprise me, therefore, that we find among professions such as politics and journalism, where I think, you know, a self-aggrandizing narcissist might be drawn towards those very public exhibitions of power and influence. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever when you find these sorts of ideologies, this sort of trendy leftism, so popular within that cohort. Do you think that that is a fair assessment to make?
As you alluded to before, and as you alluded to in your very well-written article, you referenced Gadsard's notion of suicidal empathy. And he also posited something called epistemological dichotomania, which is where everything is split into two opposing groups, which is a very infantile way of viewing the world. These are people who do not trade in nuance. They split the world up in this infantile way, good and bad, and then they imbue everything with this suicidal empathy. And a lot of it seems to be
suicidal empathy,
the reaction they can get from others, and in order to climb dominance hierarchies. Now, when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, that wasn't what left-wing was about. It was about justice. It was about workers' rights. That's why Labour is called Labour. These people are not interested in that at all. They're only interested in those groups that are foreign or exotic or from far away. They're not interested in their own people. They're not interested in the indigenous population of their own country at all. In fact, and the research backs this, they're very aggressive towards people. And one of the things that they found in their study is that a lot of this is actually just anti-hierarchical aggression that's playing out.
Yeah, it's interesting because where you've seen the polls change sort of politically, where the working classes are now on the right and the elite are on the left, I wonder how much this has got to do with the sort of prevalence of these luxury ideologies. And a theory that I've read before is this idea that once upon a time you were able to show off to everybody that you were wealthy because you had a smartphone, or you had a brand new car, or you had a subscription to Sky TV. Whereas now, in the world that we live in, with so many finance deals available and the progress of technology, is most people, whatever their strata in life in terms of their earnings, probably have a smartphone. Most people probably have a number of television channels they can watch. Most people now can get on a flight and go get a suntan, whether it be to Benidorm or Bermuda. Most people now...
Remember to unmute myself this time. So let's just clarify here. What she's saying is that it is harder to be like, we've been conditioned for so long to look at people's possessions, vile, hyper-capitalistic, consumerist society that we've built, off the backs of World War II veterans, as was mentioned before on the Facebook post. Because now those things are more obfuscated by all the easy credit and stuff like that, and the money printing, it is harder to be special. It's harder to be seen as more than, which is what you all want to be, yeah? Rather than just worrying about yourself and being a good person and making sure that there is good in the world and standing up to evil when you see it, you just worry about the next thing, buying the next thing, saying the right thing. It's disgusting. Like, have you done no work on yourself up here? None at all. Vile. What are your morals? You don't have any. You have a value system that's been imparted on you, again, so that you can climb the social hierarchy by saying the right thing. You're absolute scum.
Don't have a sort of clap-type Peugeot 205. They've kept on life support down the local mechanics for the last 20 years. They probably have a relatively new addition to their car. And on top of all of this, most people, even if they don't have those things, can use filters and selective editing on social media to curate this idea that they do. And so instead, it seems to me that the only way these days you can demonstrate that you are of the elite is to actually very openly and very sort of exhibition, in a very exhibitive way, show people that you believe in these niche causes, because you know by and large that you're probably somewhat insulated from them, that the migrant hotel isn't going to be at the end of your street, that if your little child suddenly declares it wants to be trans, you can afford all the care in the world to help them. And so all the things that they tend to...
Your child will never decide to be trans without having the ideology forced upon them. Yeah? It has been demonstrated through numerous studies that little boys are just little boys and little girls are just little girls. But if you start to constantly bombard them with special treatment for saying the right thing, then their brain will go, oh, this is how I survive. And it will it fucks them right up. It's an evil thing, this trans nonsense. Absolutely evil and vile. Again, we've already broke it down, but this video will come out before that because, well, we need to respond to the narcissist.
To espouse, which largely go against the interest of other people, they themselves are never on the sharp end of receiving.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about it as being an aspect of affluenza, but the way that you framed it there, that makes sense. So if I'm raised in a very privileged environment, and most of the people who espouse...
Privilege is very real. We were privileged to be born into this nation. What a privilege, and you have squandered and destroyed it. Particularly you, Lynn, you boomers. Yeah, you were born into one of the most affluent times ever in history, and you've fucking ruined us. That's why I am enraged at you. Because you have fucked us so badly, and yet still you cannot take any accountability or any ownership. You still think your opinion matters, even though you've demonstrated that you've got nothing going on upstairs.
These beliefs are clearly very, very privileged because, as you say, they're luxury beliefs. They can afford to have the belief and signal the belief without bearing the consequence of the effects of that belief being enacted.
There you go. Yeah, you get to spout all this without dealing with the consequences. So again, go to Afghanistan for a week. See what the consequences are. Yeah?
And so, yes, maybe this is the new handbag. Maybe this is just a status hierarchy flex to get you somewhere into the oppression Olympics at some level, even if you're just on the sidelines cheering it on.
Right. So we've got the gist there. We will quickly look at this because I just don't have the energy to go into... Oh, have I not uploaded it there? I'm going to have to upload it there as well. Yeah, I just don't have the energy to go into this right now. And we've still got another left-wing extremist to look at on Facebook before we move on. Let's quickly look at this.
British people ejected from their homes so they can be refurbished.
So I wrote this essay yesterday, and the Lord works in mysterious ways because, well, we already are starting to get proof of it. But when you actually start looking into the Antisocial Behaviour and Policing Act of 2014, you see very clearly that although the language has been chosen very carefully, it's got nothing to do with antisocial behaviour or protecting the public or protecting communities. It is all about giving more power to local authorities, housing associations and police to... Oh, my apologies. To define whatever they want as antisocial behaviour, and then it can be used to get you out of your home, get you out of any area that they want, so that they can ship in whoever they want to. And then
when you combine that with the fact that private equity is buying up homes in the UK like it's a fucking gold rush. Remember that private equity, it all ends up at the top big boys, BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, all that. Yeah, it all goes up to them, who are in line with the UN and the World Economic Forum, who want their 15-minute cities. Is it all starting to fall into place for you now, or are you still too fucking retarded to see what's right in front of your eyes? All of these things are about control. Look into all the public dispersal orders, all the human rights organisations saying this is evil, how it has demonised the youth so much that they don't feel a part of society. Not a bit of wonder we're all fucked.
Again, I just don't have the energy to go into that right now. I'm sure there will be a way for me to put the essay up on Facebook for you to have a read. Not that you will, because again, you've already decided what's real. It doesn't matter about truth. Yeah? Not for you. So, yeah. 13th of September. This is probably in... Well, this is in relation to the Tommy Robinson rally in London. There will be one held in Carlisle now, apparently, as well. All comments. So, Alex Elliott. This is something to do with far-right criminal Tommy Robinson. Yeah. Never... Now, I wouldn't go as far to say that I'm a Tommy Robinson supporter, but I appreciate what he done about trying to expose the rape gangs, and he is definitely an enemy of the state. He's never been trialled by jury. Never. And we know that the judiciary is not independent because of the extremist government that we have, by their own definition. Have a quick look at this. So, yeah, it's not just you, Lynn. Yeah, there are others. Yeah, you form a little club and you get to reinforce your own delusions. It's not just you. Can you explain what is far right? Tommy Robinson, look up a definition online of what it means to be far right. That's what he is. That's not a response, is it? Again, deflect. Don't actually answer or commit to anything. Tommy Robinson, look up yeah. Anyone with half a brain cell these days, he can join Antifa with the useful idiot renter mob. Yeah. He's literally a far-right activist. He can't define what far-right is. Yeah? We've defined what an extremist is at the start of this video. That's what you are, Alex. We'll tag him as well. He would probably even describe himself that way. My point is, anything right of Marxism is now considered far-right. Yes, again, in my little stalker video that we'll be uploading, where we expose Gavin for the horrible little cretin that he is as well, he talks about the Overton window shifting. And yes, the Overton window has shifted so far left that you think that it's normal to be a left-wing extremist. No, 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 no. Come back to the centre. And you best come back to the centre quick, because the rest of the country, the silent majority, have had enough. Yeah? For your own safety, stop being a moron. Stop spouting online. Stop fucking condescending people, talking down like you have some moral high ground. You don't. I certainly don't. All I'm doing is talking to you from a point of logic, but it infuriates me. It hurts my brain. Physically hurts my brain to see you stupid morons with your fake virtue. It's sickening. They call it neurodivergence, but honestly, I think it's just being human, and you aren't anymore. Oh, no, here we go. It's organised by Tommy Robinson, isn't it? Who is literally far right. Cannot fucking define far right. Okay, let's just... no. Fine. Far right. Oh, that isn't what we want. Okay, I fear something horrific may occur. Up goes the dynamite. I genuinely do. I think that there will be either a terrorist attack or a false flag effort that will further the digital ID tyranny that they're already pushing that they've been pushing for a long time. But again, all you left-wing lunatics call us conspiracy theorists when it's all laid out right there for it. In fact, let's pull it up now. UN 2030 plan. Tell you what we'll do. We'll download these and then I'll just superimpose them on for you. How about that? Ooh, this is a proper full document. That isn't what I wanted. I wanted just the nice little fucking graphic that they've got. Climate change, bollocks. No, right. Where's the fucking graphic that talks about digital IDs? Like, we've got them all, but digital ID is in there. But yeah, literally all of these Marxist shit, all this Marxist shit that none of us want, that isn't real, it's all propaganda, yeah? Go and show me the sea levels right. Go down to the beach and tell me how the sea level has rose. Realising gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls to make crucial contributions. Yeah, so find a woman for me. Human rights, well, they're being shat all over. Where is... I'll tell you what. They will help mobilise the necessary means of implementation and partnership, support the identification of solution... No. Where is it? It's definitely in there. I have seen it before. Well, fuck it. Don't even need that, do I? Because Starmer's already on about it. And Farage, because Farage is controlled opposition. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, so I think there'll be a false flag or whatever. Further the agenda. What like? A terrorist attack or a false flag? Either way, a loss of life and the tinderbox created by left-wing extremists, you guys, in this country will go up. People will suffer needlessly, all for evil people who glorify communism to virtue signal instead of doing the work required to be a good person. Oh, someone cares. Thank you, Howard. If there's going to be loss of life in this country, then it's considerably more likely to be because of the far right. Based on what? Based on... Where is your logic? It's about facial recognition in London. I don't trust TR as far as I can throw him, which isn't far. Yeah, I mean, it's all organised. They're absolutely just going to be banker. If there is no kind of attack or whatever, there is definitely, like, they are absolutely clearing the faces of everyone in attendance. He's not responded to that, has he? We'll kick off counter-protest protesters. Yeah, absolutely a thing. Brought in by the police protecting busloads, as we've seen. Yep. It's all divide and conquer. This is exactly what they want. Right, left, can't believe folks still conned by this. If folks want to do something, it's defund the madness. I'm informing council I'm postponing paying council tax to give out light papers to enlighten folk. There is alternative media, and yeah. Recording a video this very second. Where would I find the link? Oh, there we go. Oh. Correct. Sides. And illusion. There we go. Nick Hewitt, you go in. Can't wait to see it. I mean, it will be fantastic as long as it doesn't blow up. Right, so it looks like he's responded, has he? Yeah, there we go. Come on, there we go. Oh no, where's it gone? Come on, there we go. That's not a definition. You were a moronic cretin when we were young. Clearly, you've done no work on improving yourself. Okie dokie. So, that's sorted, I believe. Let's say I straight up don't have the energy to go through my essay that explains why the Antisocial Behaviour and Policing Act 2014 absolutely tramples on your human rights, but I will find a way to upload it. Failing that, I'll just do a video tomorrow. Yep, sound. Cheers. In a while, crocodile.